Hello all of you little demons, Jules here for WhatCulture.com, back again with another episode of the awesomely named and awfully hosted Choose Your Own Adventure, the weekly medieval themed format where I, the crown Jules of WhatCulture.com, take a list chosen by you. Yes, you, the person who partied so hard on New Year's Eve, you partied like it was 1999, so much so that you sent your brain back to 1347. Now that is a bubonic hangover. Yes, you get to decide what list I dole out to you each and every week, and this week we have none other to thank than Nolan Fam 8443 for their suggestion of the times that you were right to worry about video games. Now let's face facts, when it comes to video games, there's a lot to worry about. From deadlines coming and going, behind-the-scenes chaos and shady workplace practices, and of course, gameplay footage confirming your worst fears on an upcoming title. Therefore, the panic levels can rise to dangerous levels before you've even had a chance to play. Plus, when you factor in the sheer cost of each new gleaming title, your level of emotional attachment to a new pre-order is going to be far higher. After all, you've chosen to get this game, and therefore you've chosen not to heat your house for 10 minutes here in the UK. That is the burning hot satire, the hottest thing in my house at the moment that's going down. So you want this thing to be bloody brilliant. But sometimes those fears are more than well-founded, as a rogue slice of gameplay or the reveal of a predatory microtransaction mechanic may indeed confirm that the next big thing is going to be anything but. Now, it's actually a blessing to spot these faults early because it can save yourself some cash. It can keep that wallet closed while also keeping your mouth open so that you can tell other people to get a goddamn clue. And hopefully the 7 examples on this list will allow you to educate yourself and others. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. Now, with that in mind, of course, I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 7 times you were right to worry about video games. Number 7. When XCOM went mobile. Now, to be clear, this entry could very well read when X favourite video game franchise went mobile, and still holds true for about 99% of cases, as when it comes to the mobile gaming market, to quote Obi-Wan Kenobi, "You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy." Oh, sorry, actually, I got the quote wrong there. It was actually what Obi-Wan said in the deleted scenes of Star Wars, where he said, "This marketplace sucks." Apparently, Alec McGuinness didn't want to say that line, so they cut it out. Regardless of questionable Star Wars lore, the real battle within the mobile gaming marketplace is one concerning IPs and their own bloody dignity. For all too often, publishers will hand over the rights and a spade full of goodwill to an unknown dev team in order to line their coffers with a few more greasy pennies. But for me, one of the greatest insults to an even greater franchise was XCOM Legends. So what I want you to do, James, is imagine the type of game that conjures up in your mind when I say the words XCOM, or technically it's just one word unless you hyphenate it, but we're not getting into that, James. Is it a tight, tactical-based squad game? Is it a challenge to go up against an alien horde with supreme technology far above your own? Is that what you're imagining?
Cooking Mama was released on the Nintendo DS in 2006.
Nope, that's not it at all. Nope. But now what I want you to do, James, is take all of that excitement and tension and shove all of it off the table onto the floor and stomp it into the ground, as that is not on the menu today, my friend. No, instead you get to chow down on partially defrosted cabbage seasoned with spit and scalp flakes. The more and more the marketing of Legends told me that this was a true XCOM experience, the less and less faith I had in this game, as with a ridiculous art style favouring high-tech weapons and skins, a loot box mechanic so aggressive it reaches out and bloody throttles you, and a gameplay style that looks more akin to a shoddy Space Invaders remake than anything else, this was a panic attack on the App Store for fans. And wouldn't you know, it absolutely sucked. I mean, seriously, 2K, Fire Axes, get your together. This game is a besmirchment on the XCOM brand. Boo! Number 6. No review copies. Welcome. Step right up to the sausage factory. Here, let me draw the curtain and show you how it's made. This is me explaining that I'm about to talk about my job in a bit more detail. Fun. So in case you've been living under a digitized microtransaction DLC rock, you'll know that we here at WhatCulture review games from time to time, and as part of this process we reach out to publishers in order to request codes, or are approached by PR firms representing them in order to arrange coverage. Now what follows are reams of NDAs, corporate spiel, and an increasingly worrying amount of "you can't talk about X in your review," which is just plain odd. However, something even more worrying than being told, no, you can't actually talk about that in your review, which is designed to be for the public to make sure that they spend their money correctly, is the ever-increasing amount of outlets that just say, no, we're not giving review copies at all, or at least we only will do, but on the day of the game's launch. And it's here that the good ship Worrywart is sailing right into the mouth of Davy Jones' locker, my friend, as when this happens, there's little to no hope that the game in question is going to be up to par, and my words of warning, as well as my colleagues, will arrive way too late to do anything about it. This move is a clear sign of zero faith in the end product by the publisher, either because it's rife with bugs or just made with about as much effort as an apathetic shrug. But rather than offer up the piece for fair criticism, the publishers choose to scrape as many sales and pre-orders up as possible before the word of mouth becomes mostly consisting of right off. So there we have it, my friends, the more you know about the WhatCulture process. Fun stuff. Number 5, the moment that Andromeda failed. Anthem. You're only as good as your last success. It's a saying that's bandied around office spaces, locker rooms, and many other paths of life, and we understand the truth within it, that people are only going to remember the last act that you did, whether it was good or bad, because of the fact that that's the most recent thing in their memory. Like, they're probably going to remember the fact that you tried to eat a live puppy face first, despite the fact that you got good grades all year. Surprising, right? And unfortunately for video game developers, the reception of their prior title can also screw the pooch in a different manner, as BioWare found out firsthand when Mass Effect Andromeda drunkenly stumbled onto the marketplace and promptly caked its own trousers in dung. And it was at this moment, in the wake of Andromeda's failure, that the bloom was truly off the rose for BioWare, and as a result, any fingers that they had in other video game pies now seemed as appealing as eating a slice of tart that somebody had stuck their todger in. And the manky pastry dish in question was the one and only Anthem. Suddenly all of its, this is totally real and not staged at all, I swear guys, trailers and gameplay segments seemed to reek of a deep-set rot, and with each new announcement of the progress of the game, a new dollop of worry was placed on top. I mean, if BioWare couldn't deliver on a franchise that was a core part of its identity, what hope did this new IP have? Especially with the weight of expectations coming from EA themselves, who are so desperate for a win at this point. It would seem that this shaken confidence in the devs was unfortunately well-founded, as upon release Anthem was a slice of admittedly decent-looking mush, but it was so hollow and obvious with its gameplay loops that many fans were left cold on the experience within weeks, leading to a steady march towards the grave. It seems that the only Anthem that was being sung after its release was, nah, I'm not buying that, mate. Billy, 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 boo. Thank you, Wisconsin. Number 4, and spoiler alert. Thank you, Wisconsin. Spoiler alert for The Last of Us Part 2. Number 4, where's Joel? Last of Us Part 2. Now, the moment that The Last of Us Part 2's first trailer dropped was a milestone moment in gaming. Here we were, several years after one of the most impactful, heartfelt, and engaging stories had basically made every other action-adventure game look like a boring lecture on how to watch paint dry, and now we were finally reunited. The internet exploded in excitement, and message boards and comment threads were set ablaze with speculation, anticipation, and the joy that we were finally going to be playing as Joel and Ellie once more. Or were we? Do like a dramatic zoom thing if you can. You see, the 2016 PlayStation Experience trailer also sparked something else, something less enrapturing than the thought of playing this technical marvel, and that was worry. It was a fear that came from the strange framing of the trailer, of how Joel's face was never shown, how Ellie was so deeply saddened and troubled by something, and how she was covered in blood, yet Joel appeared pristine, almost as if he was an idealized memory of a figure rather than something tangible and real. Now, there's something about losing an expertly written video game character that I feel hits harder than in movies, because you played as them, you were part of their journey, and in turn it became equally your own. And so being presented with images like this years before the game dropped was enough to sow a seed of doubt to know deep down how it was going to end. So the worry here was actually well placed. We were worried that we were going to lose one of our favorite video game characters, and unfortunately it was well founded, because Joel did indeed exit the franchise. The backlash to this event, however, was not well founded. Boo on you if you attacked the game's writers, creators, actors, or anyone involved in this. Boo on you. Number 3, all of Metal Gear Survive just in all of it. Right, so let me get this straight again. You're making a Metal Gear game devoid of Hideo Kojima, and you're switching out stealth and subterfuge for zombies, survival mechanics, and base building. Yes. Okay. And get this, we're also going to charge you for saves as a part of Where are you going? Where are you going? Number 2, Katanas Advertising. John Romero's about to make you his bitch. It was the marketing campaign heard around the world, a defiant statement from a cocksure developer that his next game wasn't here to just sell units, but to totally and utterly crush the player under the weight of its greatness. Can you see exactly when the worry set in here in this example? Oh yes, it was the moment that the first person greenlit this advertising campaign. What were they thinking? For with such a statement came a pretty hefty expectation from the player. With this, you are saying that your game is something else, something that transcends expectations and will be unlike anything else on the market. And you know what? They were kind of almost right here, because everyone the world over, even E.T. dug itself out of the desert to come and point and laugh at this game, because it was abysmal. It was all the world could talk about because of just how goddamn horrendous it was. Now, the gaming public at large was already raising eyebrows at this title well before the release, thanks to some shoddy footage, reports of internal struggles, and gameplay demos that made a house of cards on an active fault line look more stable. So to have these concerns not only met but exceeded on, well, it was all she wrote for Daikatana. Ironically, if the game had been more humble with its opening gambit, then maybe we would have actually been a little less harsh on it. But alas, that's not what happened. And number 1, being stuck in development hell. Various games. Now, in video games, there's no greater source of frustration, angst, and worry as the dreaded development hell status that comes to define more games than we'd care to mention. To have this label attached to a project might as well come with a phone containing the Grim Reaper on speed dial, as clearly something is not working out behind the scenes. Whether it's the creative leads leaving, the money drying up, or a publisher pulling the creators onto other projects and promising, yeah, I'm sure we'll get back to that later, it all ends the same, with a handful of screenshots or maybe 1 or 2 trailers, and then radio silence until we spy their name in the obituaries. It's time that is the real source of worry with this entry. As with such a high turnover of titles and an industry that barely remembers what came out last week, let alone a year ago, the wheels need to be greased with the blood, sweat, and tears of developers constantly, or they'll rust entirely overnight. It's absolutely gutting to see a title you love get a new lease of life only to go into an excruciating period of protracted turmoil, and with each passing month and each failure to show something new, the worry only grows. Plus, if a game spends years in development hell and somehow makes it through the other side, there's actually even more worry added to it. Because how can the game possibly live up to the expectations that you've generated over this long gestation period? It is a doomed to fail prophecy. Boo! So the new slogan we'll give to these development in hell games is, you're damned if you do, and you're forgotten about if you don't. Ooh, did it get colder in here, or is it just that the chill running through my bones? Ooh. And there we go, my friends. The first Choose Your Own Adventure of 2023 in the books. James, I hope that you had a good time editing this one. I especially love all of the extra flair that I've just lumped on you in this final sentence that I now know that you'll protractedly go back and try and edit in to the edit to make sure that it looks slightly better or different, or you just cut this out entirely. Fantastic. Hope you had a good time, regardless. And if you want to have your idea made into a Choose Your Own Adventure video, then all you've got to do is pop your suggestions down in the comment section below. Big love to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us here today. And you can go follow us over on the social medias. I'm at RetroJ, but the O is a 0 over on Instagram. And James Dowsey is over here on the socials. But before I go, I just want to say one thing. Worry is something that will affect us all, most of us, in our day-to-day life. We worry about how we appear to our friends. We worry about what we're going to be doing today, worrying about the state of the world or our place within it. But I just want to tell you, my friend, that you are a massive ledge. You are a shining light of hope for humanity, because I know that you're a good person deep down inside, and I know that you're going to go out there and make this the best possible life that you possibly can. And why do I know that? Because every single person on this planet deserves love, happiness, and success, and I want you to achieve your life goals today, my friend. So go out there with love in your heart, and I genuinely hope that you smash it today. It's the start of a new year, it's the start of a new mentality, it's the start of a new energy cycle. let's bloody do this. I was going to say let's do this, but I changed my mind. Let's bloody do this. Big love to all of you. See you next week. Peace out. Big love. Bye. I forgot what I usually say. See you later. Bye.